Jade Cargill rushed to hospital following brutal Nia Jax assault. Yo, stop scrolling right now, because we have got breaking news that just sent shockwaves through the entire WWE universe. And I am not exaggerating when I say this might be one of the most vicious attacks we have witnessed in recent memory. If you want to stay on top of every bone-crushing moment and career-altering incident in WWE, hit that subscribe button like Nia Jax. Just hit a leg drop and smash that notification bell, because WWE Extreme is about to break down an assault so brutal that it landed one of WWE's most dominant women in the hospital. All right, let me paint this picture for you, because what went down is absolutely insane. Jade Cargill, the woman who looks like she was sculpted from granite by the gods themselves, the former AEW superstar who came to WWE with more hype than a WrestleMania main event, just got absolutely demolished by Nia Jax in what can only be described as a statement of pure violence. And we are not talking about a standard wrestling beatdown where someone takes a few bumps and sells for the cameras. No. This was a legitimate assault that required medical attention, that had trainers and officials scrambling, and that reportedly resulted in Jade being transported to a local medical facility for evaluation. When WWE sends someone to an actual hospital rather than just having them checked out by the backstage doc, you know things got real, and they got real fast. Now, before we dive deeper into exactly what happened, we need to talk about the build-up to this moment, because nothing in WWE happens in a vacuum. Jade Cargill and Nia Jax have been on a collision course for weeks now, with tensions escalating every single time these two powerhouses cross paths. You have got Jade, the newest phenom who has been bulldozing through the women's division like it owes her money, racking up victories and making it look easy with that incredible combination of strength, athleticism, and star power that you just cannot teach. And then you have got Nia Jax, the irresistible force, the woman who has been destroying people in WWE for years and does not take kindly to newcomers coming into her house acting like they own the place. This was a clash of egos, a battle of titans, and an inevitable explosion that was always going to end with someone getting hurt. We just did not expect it to be this catastrophic. So what actually went down that was so brutal it required hospitalization? Reports from people who witnessed the incident live are saying that Nia Jax completely snapped during what was supposed to be a standard confrontation segment. Maybe it was something Jade said, maybe it was the way Jade has been disrespecting the veterans of the division, or maybe Nia just woke up and chose violence that particular day. Whatever the trigger was, Nia unleashed absolute hell on Jade Cargill in a way that went beyond the usual scripted intensity. We're talking about repeated power moves, unprotected strikes, and a level of aggression that had everyone backstage legitimately concerned for Jade's safety. Witnesses say that Jade was barely moving by the time officials pulled Nia away, and that is when the decision was made to get her proper medical attention immediately. Let me hit you with some perspective here that makes this situation even crazier. Jade Cargill is not some fragile performer who goes down easy. This woman is built like a superhero. She has been training in combat sports for years, and she has the kind of physical presence that makes other wrestlers think twice about getting physical with her. For Nia Jax to do enough damage to put Jade in the hospital, we're talking about a beating of epic proportions. And here's where things get complicated from a WWE perspective. How much of this was planned? How much of this went too far? And what are the ramifications going to be for Nia Jax now that she has potentially injured one of the company's biggest investments in the women's division? These are questions that WWE management is probably asking themselves right now while simultaneously trying to figure out how to spin this situation into compelling television. But let us talk about Nia Jax for a second, because her history in WWE is, shall we say, complicated. Nia has been involved in several incidents over the years where her opponents ended up legitimately injured. Whether it was Becky Lynch getting her face busted open before Survivor Series, or various other performers complaining about working stiff with her, Nia has developed a reputation for being dangerous in the ring. Now, is that reputation entirely fair? Maybe not. Wrestling is a physical business. Accidents happen, and sometimes things go wrong no matter how careful everyone is trying to be. But when the same person keeps being involved in these incidents at some point you have to start asking whether there is a pattern here. And this situation with Jade Cargill is only going to fuel those discussions and debates within the wrestling community. Here is what makes this entire situation so fascinating, though. WWE loves controversy. They love edgy storylines. And they absolutely love when reality blurs with fiction in a way that gets people talking. So the question becomes, how much of this hospital angle is legitimate medical concern? And how much of this is WWE taking a real incident and amplifying it for storytelling purposes? Because let me tell you something, if Jade Cargill comes back from this hospital visit with fire in her eyes and revenge on her mind, ready to absolutely destroy Nia Jax in what could be one of the most personal and brutal feuds in recent women's division history, that is Money in the Bank. That is a storyline that writes itself. That is the kind of real emotion and real stakes that makes wrestling compelling in a way that scripted promos and manufactured beef never can. Now, let us address the elephant in the room. How does this affect Jade Cargill's momentum? She came into WWE with all the hype in the world, with comparisons to Chyna and Beth Phoenix and every other dominant female powerhouse in wrestling history. She was being positioned as the next big thing, potentially even the next women's champion. And now she is in the hospital because of Nia Jax. Does this derail her push? Does this make her look vulnerable? Or does this actually add a layer to her character that she desperately needed, showing that even the seemingly indestructible can be hurt, and that her journey to the top is not going to be as easy as everyone assumed? I am leaning towards the latter because struggle creates stars, adversity builds character, and nothing makes a babyface more sympathetic. But until that happens, we are in this weird limbo period where nobody knows the full extent of Jade's injuries. Nobody knows what WWE's plans are moving forward, and everyone is just speculating wildly based on incomplete information. That is the beauty and the frustration of being a wrestling fan in the age of social media. Information comes out in pieces, rumors spread faster than facts. And by the time we actually know what is really going on, half the internet has already moved on to the next controversy. But this story, this incident between Jade Cargill and Nia Jax, this feels like something that is going to have legs, something that is going to develop into one of the defining feuds of this era in WWE Women's Wrestling. Thank you so much for watching WWE Extreme, and we will keep you updated on Jade's condition as more information becomes available.